What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the step-by-step process that I use to create highly custom lead lists that I use to book 30 plus meetings each month using cold email outreach. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Isaac Wood. I'm the founder of levergrowth.io. We're a performance-based B2B lead generation agency. We work with all B2B businesses, specifically agencies, software businesses, and other consultancies. Now, I consistently generate over 8 meetings a week for my business alone using these strategies that I'm going to discuss in this video, all through cold email outreach. And this allows me to acquire a new client every 10 days. Now, when it comes to running a conversion-focused email campaign, there's a lot of things that come into play to actually get those conversions. We're going to talk about one facet here. We're going to be talking about targeting. Once you do the targeting, you can write the messaging to actually get people to convert and get them interested. But we're going to be doing step one, which is actually figuring out who you're going to be reaching out to. There's a lot of different tools on the internet. I'm going to be talking through one specific strategy at this point where we're going to be scraping some data, enriching that data, and ultimately putting it in a place where we're validating it and getting it ready to just launch the campaign. So this is the step-by-step process that I use to build enrich lists of over 10,000 prospects in a given month for my own business alone. I'll draw upon my experience sending hundreds of thousands of emails, running 30 plus sales calls in a given month, and closing a new high ticket client every 10 days. So let's hop into the video. All right, so first I'm going to talk through the tool stack that we're going to use here. So we're going to be scraping some data using Instant Data Scraper. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. We're using a website known as Crunchbase. This is an awesome website to find funding data, company data, lots of different information that you can get on there. It is a paid subscription, but this is what I'm going to be using to actually scrape some data. We're going to then enrich our data using Apollo, which is a contact database, very popular B2B source. We're going to use Million Verifier to validate our data. And then I'm not going to show you how to do it, but ultimately I use a tool called smartlead.ai. That's the tool that I use to actually get the campaigns launched and going. So just starting here, step one, we're going to be scraping some target company data. What you first need to do is download the Instant Data Scraper Chrome extension. From there, you want to head to your database or website that you want to scrape, and then we'll scrape some relevant info. So first step we're going to do here is actually go into Instant Data Scraper. You know it's the right one when it's made by webrobots.io. They have this cool Pokeball here as well. So just make sure to download that tool. I've already done that. So if you're a B2B service business, specifically agencies, software businesses, or consultancies, and you're looking for 5 to 10 more meetings each month with your ideal fit client on Autopilot, then hit that link in the description below. Now, let's get back to the video. So what we want to do next is go into Crunchbase. In this case, I've already put together a list. In this case, I'm going to be doing companies based in the United States and Canada. The companies all have funding as recent as January 1st of this year. The reason why we are separating it out based on the relevance of the funding is typically companies that have funding more recently are going to be more inclined to be investing in new services or new tools. And then from there, we're actually going to just get some different employee counts here because we don't want to be reaching out to companies of all different sizes. So a lot of these companies that I work with, they work with small, medium-sized businesses all the way up to enterprises. For this instance, we're going to be targeting businesses in the size of 11 employees up to 250. So you can see there's about 5,000 results here. So what you actually want to do is there is an option to select the Chrome plugin, grab that Pokeball. This is the data scraper here. So you want to do is make sure that you're selecting the correct table. You want to click through this, and the way that you understand that it's the right table or not is just if the data that you're wanting to pull is down here. So the key thing that we want to make sure to find is our company domain name. So I believe I formatted it properly. So where we'll be able to pull it. All right, cool. So it's right here. So what you would want to do next is start crawling. It's going to actually start to pull the data. You can see it's clicking through. And once it's ready, you want to hit stop crawling. You want to download it as a CSV. I've already done it, so I'm not going to go through the whole process already, but this is just a quick tutorial of how to actually do it. So assuming you've gotten to the point where you have the data that you're looking for, that's properly filtered, you want to export it as a CSV. So now let's look at the CSV that we've exported. As you can see, we have the same data that we were scraping earlier. In this case, again, you just want to make sure to confirm that you do have the domain. So this is cool that we have the domain. So we're actually going to do a bulk import into our data provider, Apollo, to actually get the company that we're looking for to create a highly targeted lead list here. So what you would want to do then, go to File, download this as a CSV. And so the next step, what we're going to do is actually get that data into Apollo so we can make sure to create a targeted lead list. Okay, so now that we've scraped our ideal fit company list, we're going to use those companies as the guardrails for our analysis and where we're actually going to find those ideal fit titles. So take the list, save it down, and then we're going to upload it as a CSV into Apollo. So what we do then is go into Apollo, and what you want to do is go to import, bulk import from CSV, select CSV, select your file, and then you want to map by website. From there, hit that, hit import, and wait for your file to upload. Now, while that's uploading, we can talk about just some strategy around filtering. There's quite a few ways that you can go about this. Typically, what you'll do is you want to just think about your existing book of business as a way to triangulate ideal fit titles. So think about who you've actually transacted with, who has held budget in the past, and then think about that relative to the size of the company or the vertical of the company or some other common factors. If you don't have a broad book of business so far, what you can do is you can just look at a dream list of clients or a aspirational list of customers and go and triangulate based on the common factors, which we'll get into in a second. So what you can do then is look at the region or the specific location of the company. You can look at their industry or vertical. You can look at their employee size. You can look at the technologies that they use or potentially some different funding that they might have gotten or how recently they've gotten it. Once you have that squared away, you want to go actually into the filtration of the relevant contacts. So some key ones to think about here, it's going to be your seniority, your job title, or your time and role. Just some simple ones to start, just to talk about in this specific tutorial. So I'm going to wait for the load list, for the lead list to upload, and then we'll get into the filtering. Okay, cool. So we've uploaded the list. We're now in Apollo. So what we've done is we're going to the people section here, and we're going to include the company list that we just uploaded. As you can see, we have quite a few contacts. So if you recall earlier, we were at 11 to 250. So let's just do custom range here. You can select it individually. But because we did that, let's go 11 to 250 just to see. So we go from cut about half off. So that's great. But let's get a little more specific. So based on different types of companies, you're going to be wanting to reach out to different levels of management. So let's just first start with the simplest. Let's just do employee size up to 50. So we'll go 11 to 50. So now that you have your employee size filtered down, what we want to do next is start finding those titles that could otherwise be useful. So a good way to do this is you can start to search for specific titles, but what I'd like to do first actually is go into the management level. So I'm not exactly sure why nothing is showing up. So let's switch it like this. Sometimes it can be a little wonky. So let's go with owner, founder. Let's start there. And then go back to employee size. Let's do 11. All right, so look, quickly filtered down to just under 2,000 contacts. So you can see here that we generally have CEOs and founders. So these are typically going to be people that we want to reach out to. So I like to look deeply in here to just make sure that we're actually getting the right fit people. I would suggest probably like a strategy officer you might want to exclude. So the way to do that is you can go is not any. You can go like strategy, and that filters it down even further. So let's do another one. So like VP of product, right? So you probably don't want VP of product. And the reason being, when it comes to targeting companies up to 50, generally the person making all the decisions is going to be the CEO or the founder. So we really want to just be specific in reaching out to those folks. And then from there, we can leave it up to them to refer us to the relevant party internally, if it makes sense. And generally, what I would recommend is in your email campaigns, having a referral email or asking if they could present the email to somebody who actually would be relevant if it's not them. So you'll see here we got some contacts that are kind of based all over the place. So let's do some location filtering. And so you want to just get United States. I know we did Canada earlier, but just let's stick with US. All right, so you got like 1.3 here. So we pretty much now have a list of founders and CEOs. What I would do is keep going through this and just continue to exclude out keywords that aren't relevant. Once you have that, you want to start selecting these, selecting people at a time, saving them down, save them into a list, create a list here, save it down, and then you want to export it. And what we want to do last is put our contacts into Million Verifier. So as you can see here, right, validate your emails. It's the last step. So once you actually have a list of emails, we want to use a validation tool. So do this before you launch the campaign. This is like the most important thing aside from targeting, because if you're sending this whole list without doing any sort of validation, you're going to get 20 to 40% of those are going to bounce. So that's going to really hurt your deliverability. And ultimately, you want to really prevent that from happening. So again, just validate your emails. So how do you resolve this? Again, use Million Verifier. It's cheap. They only charge you for valids that they find. So this is a tool. You go into it. It's pretty simple. You just select a file to validate and you'll be off to the races. So once you have a final list of ideal fit companies and ideal fit titles at those companies, you're ready to launch your campaign. So the last step that you want to do is actually just upload it to a sending tool. I specifically use smartlead.ai. This isn't an affiliate, but I just use them. They're best in breed. I would recommend them for sure. So now just to recap, step one, scrape your target company data, get that ideal fit companies. So then you can enrich that further. From there, you want to enrich that company data. You want to filter and export all of the contact data. You want to validate those emails, and then you want to start to send your campaign. So that's pretty much the step-by-step process of how we create highly custom prospect lists to book 30 plus meetings in a given month. Now, if you need 5 to 10 more meetings each month with your dream prospects on autopilot, you should go to levergrowth.io. We will help you book meetings with those ideal fit clients on a performant basis, and would love to learn a little bit more about your business and how we can potentially help. So if you want more content like this, feel free to hit subscribe, like this video, and put some comments down below. And if you want to learn anything else, I'd be happy to make some content that is requested. So anyway, talk to you in the next video. Thanks.